Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to the another session of Anand Medical Academy. In this session, I am here with to introduce the new chapter, that is microbes and human welfare. On the online session, you just find out this is the fifth chapter I am teaching. Human reproduction, molecular basis of inheritance, biotechnology principles and biotechnology applications were completed. There are 4 chapters. Then the fifth new chapter, that is microbes and human welfare. In this, we are highlighting the uses and so many advantages towards the mankind by microbes. And don't think microbes like bacteria, virus, algae, fungi and so many unicellular protozoans are always giving harm to the humankind. And another dimension, microbes are also useful. In this lesson, you are coming to know. By this lesson, you can also have 2 questions of the NEET, means 8 marks. Let us see the introductory part now. Very firstly, besides the microbic plants and animals, these microorganisms are the major component of the biological system. In your first year, in the first lesson you already learned Whittaker 5 kingdom classification. On that, the first one is Monera, and second one is Protista, third one is Fungi, fourth one is Plantae, and the last 5th one is Animalia. Out of all these 5, Monera includes only prokaryotes. Maximum of the microorganisms comes under the Monera, but not all. Some unicellular fungi is also present, so that kingdom fungi also consists of microbes. That's why I have written here they are major component of the biological system. Entire biological system have 5 kingdom classifications. In that, microbes are involved in maximum almost of all the kingdoms. Okay, and secondly, they are cosmopolitans. What are cosmopolitans? Means they used to live everywhere. No place is exception for them. They can live even in the cold regions and also more than 100 degrees temperature, just like a thermal vents. Even in our refrigerator also bacteria is present. In the air condition also bacteria is present, and some kind of geysers, thermal vents, though produce the heat, also bacteria is present. So microbes are cosmopolitans. They are also present in acidic, basic, neutral and high alkaline mediums. So that's what salt lakes, estuaries is generally called brackish water. Everywhere they are present. That's why microbes are called cosmopolitans. So some bacteria are extremophiles, means they can live in extraordinary conditions like high temperature, high alkaline. So they are called extremophiles. Next, microbes are high in diversity. What is diversity? Variations. So, like bacteria is one type of a microbe. Virus, that are a plant virus or animal virus or DNA virus or RNA virus. Next, unicellular fungi. Unicellular fungi, just like a yeast. This is one type, this is one type, this is one type, and some protozoans. Protozoans are animalcules. They are not animals, animal-like organisms. All are microscopic. So all these are microorganisms because we cannot see them by our naked eye. We have to use the microscope to observe their structure. That's why they are called microscopic organisms. They are cosmopolitans because they used to live in various conditions. They have a high diversity because they are under the different groups: bacterial group, Monera group, viral group, unicellular fungi group, and protozoans, and etc. And sometimes we can also call up prions. Prions are also belongs to microbes. One by one we come to learn. But as I told you earlier in this class, in this session we are highlighting the microbes and their soft corner towards the human being. Not at all harmful corner. This bacteria gives a disease, this viral gives a disease. So that is human health and disease concept. But in the microbes and human welfare, how microorganisms are help us in different kinds is the topic. Extend a topic of a diversity. Firstly, if you take a bacteria may be a round shape. When bacteria is round shape, then that is called coccus or cocae. When the bacteria is in rod shape, this is what? Spherical shape or round shape. And this is a rod shape. A rod shape bacteria is called bacillus or bacilli. If a bacteria is in a spiral shape, this is called spiral bacteria. A bacteria is in comma shape, this is called vibrio. Like that, so much of diversity is there according to their shapes, and some bacteria are having flagella. If all the flagellas are present one side, or maybe a bacteria have a single flagella, or a bacteria may be a flagella in the both the sides, or a bacteria doesn't have a flagella. So according to the flagella also there are different types. Suppose if flagella is absent at the bacteria, that is called atrichous. If flagella is present, then they are called trichous. In that one flagella is there, that is called monotrichous. If two are there, ditrichous. If two are present in the opposite direction, then that is called amphitrichous. All are present at one side, that is called lophotrichous. Like this, a variety of bacteria are present. Some are gram negative, some are gram positive. According to the stain they are receiving and resembles. And if you see a bacteriophage is nothing but virus. Though affect bacteria is called bacteriophage. Example T2 bacteriophage. It is look like a satellite. It has a protein coat and a protein end plate. From here, 3 filament-like structures are present. This is a bacteriophage. Inside genome is present, either DNA or RNA. So this is a diversity of in the shape. Whereas if you see the Saccharomyces, nothing but yeast. It is a single cellular and it shows the budding. It has a single nuclei at the center. This is yeast. This is also microorganism. This is also microorganism, and these bacteria also microorganism. And some protozoans like amoeba, entamoeba. You just have a look. This is amoeba. This is also microorganism, and this is entamoeba. Plasmodium. So many microorganisms are there, but some microorganisms are harmful. We are not ready to discuss in this session about the harmful microorganisms. Those cause diseases. So this is a different shapes executed by microorganisms. Let us see how this microorganism or microorganisms help us humankind in various aspects. Various aspects means there are so many aspects of that. Number 1 in household products. Number 2 in industrial. Number 3 in the bioactive elements. Number 4 active as a biofertilizers. Number 5 sewage treatment. So according to the NCERT, these 5 parts we are going to discuss. Firstly, in this session I am going to finish about how microorganisms help us in some household tools or household products. Let us see. First part of microbes in human welfare, that is household products. Generally, a household product means we will have an idea that is curd. How milk converts into curd, the process is called fermentation by bacteria called lactic acid bacteria. Example, lactobacillus. So that is a very known example. First one, formation of curd. And so many dairy products, curd, cheese, Roquefort cheese, like so many. How curd will be produced here? Milk introduced by a spoon of curd into the milk, then a very next 24 hours it will become a curd, right? So the curd you are introducing to the milk part is called inoculum. Very important word. Inoculum is some part of a curd or some part of substance which consists of millions of microorganisms, they can help in the fermentation process. So milk becomes curd. Then what type of bacteria is present in the inoculum? The inoculum consists of lab. LAB, lab means lactic acid bacteria. What is lab? Lactic acid bacteria present in the inoculum helps in the process of fermentation. What will happen here? Fermentation. The process involved in the conversion of milk into curd is fermentation. So that lactic acid bacteria is called fermenter. So mostly lactobacillus is one example which comes under the category of lab bacteria. Lactobacillus is one species of bacteria. Other than this, so many bacteria are also helps in the fermentation process to convert the milk into curd. All these group are called lab bacteria or lactic acid bacteria. In that one example I have given lactobacillus. Let us see this lactobacillus other advantages. This lab bacteria, if we talk about the lab first, they helps in the fermentation of milk into the curd. Nothing but curd formation by fermentation. What is a fermentation, guys? In the absence of oxygen, nothing but anaerobic bacteria. So lab is anaerobic bacteria. In the absence of oxygen, glucose molecules are converted into pyruvate and ethyl alcohol. So along with the ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide will be produced. Let us see. C2H5OH plus CO2. So this is the fermentation. Once one molecule of glucose, C6H12O6, one molecule of glucose, it doesn't require any oxygen. If you write oxygen, then it will be aerobic respiration. If you doesn't write any oxygen molecules over there, then one molecule of glucose has 6 carbons and it will become 2 molecules of pyruvic acid and later converts into 2 molecules of ethyl alcohol. Right? The what is this? Ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is 2 molecules. So ethyl alcohol, how many carbon? Ethyl alcohol is a 2 carbon component. So 2 molecule of ethyl alcohol has 4 carbons, right? But in glucose, how many carbons are there? 6 carbons are there. So carbon number 6 is here. The 6 carbon component glucose molecule become 4 carbon component, means 2 molecules of ethyl alcohol. Then 6 minus 4, 2. So that 2 molecules of carbon dioxide should be produced. This is called anaerobic respiration. This is called anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, generally anaerobic bacteria will be involved. There is no doubt. So lab is one kind of example here for anaerobe. What anaerobes do in the absence of oxygen, they can convert the glucose molecules into ethyl alcohol and the product is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide will be released. That's why even in the curd or cheese production, some holes will be there. What is that hole like structures? If you see the cheese, then small holes will be there, and it is a Swiss cheese, large holes will be there. Means carbon dioxide is emitting out. That is why the holes will be formed. Not only that kind of a curd and all, tiffin items like idli, dosa, upma, like this also fermented products. So before a day we use it to store that paste, and very next day we can make some dosa and all. Means what? Fermentation should take place, then only taste comes. Okay, and here lab, another advantage is that it also helps in the nutritional value of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 means what? Cyanocobalamin. So lab bacteria, first thing is it is a fermented bacteria which helps in the formation of curd. It is present in the inoculum. What is inoculum? Inoculum is some amount of curd or any kind of bacteria having, millions of bacteria having structure which helps in the fermentation process. Next, lab is also helps in the increasing the nutrition value like vitamin B12 and all. Next one is lab also plays very important role in the checking of microorganisms though cause diseases. So the next one is lab plays important role in checking the disease. Nothing but it is a diagnostic part. Okay, checking of disease causing pathogens. Disease causing pathogens. These are the three activities mainly in the fermentation process. The acids released by the lab, okay, partially digest the proteins. That is why the conversion of curd takes place from the milk. This is the first aspect that you have to learn, the importance of lab. What is lab? Lactic acid bacteria. And what are the advantages? There are three advantages of lab. Number one, it helps in the fermentation so that curd and other tiffin items like products are also will be produced. Number two, it increases the nutrition value of vitamin B12. Number three, it also helps in the checking of lot of pathogens though cause diseases in our body, mainly in the stomach. Clear? Let us see the other products that are belongs to household. If you see the next one, that is a dough fermentation by bacteria. What is dough? It is just like a powder, okay, where it will be used for some food items. I just discussed, no? It is a rice powder or rice flour, okay. Such flours are fermented by some bacteria so that a good taste will become in the product like idli, dosa and some other etc. tiffin items. So why it is giving like a fermentation, and carbon dioxide will be just released due to the anaerobic respiration and it will be puffed off, okay, so that the size will be swollen. Next, without bacteria there is no such items, the taste will come definitely. Next, the dough for making bread in the fermentation. So in some bakeries yeast will be used for baking, okay, like a bread, some kind of cakes and biscuits and everything. Such a yeast is important. That yeast is called baker's yeast. That name is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is the scientific name. It is a genus and that's a species of belongs to a unicellular yeast. It is commonly called baker's yeast. It is also called brewer's yeast. Brewer means what? Beverages like beer, wine, production industries. Also same yeast will be used. That's why Saccharomyces cerevisiae is also called baker's yeast and brewer's yeast. Next, toddy. Have you ever listened this term? Toddy means traditional drink. It is nothing but a fermented product given by the sap of a palm trees. Okay. Generally, it is called in Kannada. It is used to call sendi. Right. So the toddy is a fermented sap given by some palm trees. They use it to collect and store it in the pots and bottles. They consume as a alcohol in some familiar times. Okay. Next, microorganisms are also used in the fermentation of fish, soya bean, bamboo shoot to make some food products. So not only in the production of dairy products, just like dairy products like milk, ghee, butter and cheese, Roquefort cheese, Propionibacterium sharmani. What was that? Propionibacterium is a genus. Sharmani is the species. This bacteria helps in the formation of cheese. The cheese differentiate with that's not normal cheese, and Roquefort cheese is by fungi. A fungi will be added some flavor to the Roquefort cheese, whereas a bacterium helps in the fermentation of cheese. That is the difference between cheese and Swiss cheese and Roquefort cheese. Clear? And Swiss cheese has a large holes and Roquefort cheese is very smooth. And these are the so many ways where microorganisms are helpers in household products. So as I discussed in this class earlier, for your better understanding, here I am presenting some slides. Please copy the notes as per your requirements. Microorganisms are not only in the household products, they also help us in so many industrial products and biofertilizers. They also act as bioactive elements, and finally sewage treatment. So later we will discuss all one by one. In this session I am going to stop with only household products. Upon this, there will be a 10 to 15 questions will be there in the tomorrow assignment. Please read properly every line of textbook and attend. Wish you all the best.